Good day, tank fans. Cap here again, and I'm going to be taking a look at the T-43 Tier 7 Medium Tank. This tank appears here in the tech trait. It comes from the T-34-85, which is a great medium tank at Tier 6. It also shares the same gun. The T-43 only gets a Tier 6 gun. They call it a Tier 7 gun, but if it's on a Tier 6 tank, it's a Tier 6 gun to me. And then going on from the T-43, you move on to the T-44. Looking at this guy, he's got not quite as many hit points. If you look at the Panther's got almost 1,300. Probably because the Panther has more armor. I don't know. He just happens to have more. The weight is about 35 tons, which gives the tank about 17 horsepower per ton, which is pretty okay. It's not bad. Engine-wise, you get 3 different engines. Don't bother researching the middle one unless you want to unlock something for the SU-101. You get that second engine automatically on the T-44, so I don't understand why you'd want to research it. Looking at the speed limit and the traverse speed, this thing's pretty fast. It can keep up with a lot of lighter tanks even. It's more on the mobile side of the medium tanks than like a Panther or say... It feels more like a Comet. It actually feels a little bit more mobile than the Comet to me, but maybe that's because my crew's better. I'm not sure. Looking at the armor, there's a slight upgrade from the T-34-85. You got 75 all the way around with, yeah, I mean it's sloped, but from my experience, even shooting at one of these guys, most stuff just goes right in. It's kind of like driving the T-34 or the T-34-85. You're going to bounce stuff every once in a while if you're angled like that, but don't really count on it. Try and shoot on the move and move while you're shooting. Turret armor is 90 all the way around, which is kind of nice. You will be able to bounce little bits of shots, but if you catch stuff flush in the front, it's kind of like shooting at the front of a KV-1S. Most of stuff will just go right through. The turret looks very similar to that tank, actually. Looking at the range of guns, you pretty much get crop gun, and then you get the KV-1S, or the KV-1's gun, which is like 120 pen, 160 damage. You've seen this one before if you've gone through the heavy tank line. And then you've got this guy, which is the best tank, well, the best gun on this tank, and it's going to be instantly recognizable to you because you've already used it before. It's just the rate of fire went up from 10 to 11.11. So it fires slightly faster. All these stats are virtually the same. You got 144 penetration, 180 damage, 0.37 accuracy, and aiming time 2.3. Pretty average. This gun is shared across the KV-13 as well as the Tier 6 tank. You can actually use it on the IS as well, which is weird. Looking at the turret traverse speed is fantastic. You can carousel with this tank really easily. The turret turns really, really fast. That's one of the best things about this tank. View range is okay. It will be better if it was 380 or 390, but 370 is kind of average. It's not fantastic. There's some Tier 5 tanks like the M4 has 370 view range, so not a thing fantastic here. You're not going to be doing anything amazing with scouting. And you got crap radio. 525 kind of sucks. Looking at my modules, I got a rammer and gun line drive for the aiming speed and just vents to make everything better. Look at the crew. I got 100% crew on all my guys. I just took repairs, which I'll switch over for 6 cents when I eventually do get it up there. This is my same crew I had in my T-34-85. So they're pretty used to this line of tanks. I got snapshot so I can shoot on when the turret's moving, because I like to shoot on the move with this tank. If you're sitting too still with it, you wind up dead lots. And clutch braking because I want it to be as maneuverable as I can. The next skill I would probably take with this guy would be off-road driving, because driving off-road is what this tank does. And it needs to go fast or it will get dead. And I took camouflage. because the less it gets seen, or the later it gets seen, the less it gets shot at, which is good. I'd probably take maybe camouflage after on this one as well, and then camouflage after my next skill, after off-road driving for that, and maybe camo after as well for repairs to make it sneaky. Looking at the ammo loadouts, I usually just take mostly AP shells. Sometimes you do run into tanks you do need to penetrate when your penetration is only 194, even with Prem rounds. So it's even less than the stock Panther's penetration without premium rounds. So pretty much the rule of thumb of this guy is it's a flanking tank. You're only going to be able to penetrate tier 8 and tier 9 tanks from the front by shooting at weak spots or flanking. And speaking about weak spots on this tank, Capullo's not too big, but the armor is pretty much weak all around, so you don't really have to aim for weak spots. Pretty much everything will just go through. I don't know if that's actually a hitbox. It's probably not. I wouldn't shoot at that. Everything else is pretty much fair game. I don't know. I've only driven about 19 games in this tank, but for some reason I have an 80% win rate in it, and I already have my first class mastery badge. I don't know. Something about this tank just jives with me. I'm not sure why. In 19 games, I have 27 guys killed. So there's something about this tank that, yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but it's effective. So I'm going to load up some replays, and you can see kind of what this thing is all about. Russian style. Okay. This is South Coast, and I am going to try and protect my M5 Stuart from death. Might be easier said than done. We are all alone. There looks like there's a Hellcat and a KV-3 maybe coming this way to help. But this guy's like, I'm going to go on a death mission, so I'm going to shoot him. Get reloaded here, I'm going to shoot him again. And he got pegged on the way in, so yeah, you're going to get people that do that. I don't know what he was trying to do. But I'll take a suicide tank shot any day of the week. I'm already down one tank. I think that's the... Yeah, that's an awful tank, the VK2801. I don't ever want to drive that thing, because that's the one that moves on to the awful Panther. So I'm popping around, and I spot VK3001H. And this gun could penetrate that tank, no problemo. And then he gets blown up, derp smashed by an SU-100. So things are looking good. Tier 6 tanks down. This is a tier 8 game, so it will get nastier. And someone put a rock there. I don't know who. So this is where all the tanks perch on the hill here, so let's see what we can shoot at. And there's a Cromwell. Cromwell is another tank that I can penetrate from the front really, really easy. Let's see, the SU is going to park in the husk of this building. And I spot the T-43/2. I can penetrate him really easy. It seems to be like he's going to shoot at everything I shoot at. He's going to kill steal everything I shoot at. So this ridge is kind of dangerous sometimes. They can see into here fairly well, but at least we do have some cover. So I'm just taking it easy here. And I can see that our liver is moved all the way up. But we have a KV-3 rolling down the road too, and there's a Hellcat and an SU. So it's pretty safe for me to move up, because I think everyone else on their team has evac'd that area because we shot the hell out of them. So I'm huffing along here, doing about 50, 55. And be careful here not to be the first tank that's spotted, because I don't have 6th sense on this guy yet. I don't know if I'll play it, if I'll have it long enough to get 6th sense, but Maybe. I'll probably get 6 cents on the T-44.
Enemy armor is hit.
So I shoot him, but he doesn't oblige me with backing up. I wish he would have backed up. It would have been another death. So I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting, and he doesn't want to play. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait for these guys to engage, and then I'm going to kind of blast in. So I saw that he shot, so actually I wait a little bit. This guy's armor isn't really fantastic. I find I can penetrate him pretty easy with this tank.
Penetration.
Like that shot. Went straight in. On the GW Tiger was right there.
Penetration.
That one went through his toughest armor as well, even angled. And he gets blasted.
One of our tracks is damaged.
And the other artillery shot at me there. Son of a... You can see that there's a Mag Panther on the hill. I missed my shot at him. And the Cromwell's come down. So I'm going to shoot at the Cromwell.
Penetration.
Take that one, not fully aimed. And he's just sitting there fixating, shooting at the KV-3. I don't know
We've lost a track.
why.
Enemy armor is hit.
Shoot once.
Let's go. They're knocked out.
So he's dead. And you can see that this guy is just content with pulling back. And I think our artillery... I'm just keeping him spotted here. And then our SU. I don't feel like taking a shot with him if I don't need to. SU comes over. Blasts him to high hell. And that was pretty much for this game because I didn't manage to get back to kill the Tiger, but managed to get a whole crapload of cat points. Win! Did 2,225 damage there. Got 2 kills. Pretty good game for this tank. Okay, we're in Merca on the highway. And this is the worst possible matchmaking for this tank. I'm like right on the bottom of the barrel. Most of the tanks here are tier 8 or tier 9. So I thought briefly about moving up here, and I got pegged by like 5 tanks. And I figured I need to repair or I'm going to wind up dead here. So I dropped back into the water here, and this is where I spent most of my game. So I'm just going to pop out here, try and shoot the lower plate of the T-54. Most of the time that's going to be bouncy time. But I'm going to shoot anyway, because it says it's green, but it's not actually going to go in. It's too sloped. So I switch over to premium rounds, and I think that shot probably went in because he was turned sideways. And the prototype, I could probably shoot normal rounds at him, but at this point I didn't really care. So now I'm just sitting in the puddle.
We just dinged him.
And that something smashed his tracks off there. I'm not sure it was me.
Enemy armor is damaged.
This is one of the few tanks at tier 9 that I can damage pretty easy.
Enemy is hit.
Especially if I shoot premium rounds at him. And the gun depression fail right there means I have to drive out to shoot at him.
Enemy. Gotcha.
But that means he's dead. And I got pegged again by Invisitank, probably Panther. And then the T-44 is like, I'm gonna come over and kill this guy.
Penetration.
I shoot him,
Put it out quick.
get lit on fire,
We've put out the flames.
put the flames out.
Penetration.
And I'm just gonna shoot it out with this guy. Because he thinks he's gonna kill me, but I have a whole bunch of guys on the hill, hopefully, shooting at him. Doesn't really appear so.
Armor is damaged.
Because I'm down about 290. Artillery takes his tracks out. He's like, thank you. Yeah. And the T-29 blasts him into oblivion, so he's gone. Alright, so that pretty much just left the T-54, which never moved after this. I'm not sure if he was just decided to go AFK, or I didn't feel like driving over there to check because he would have killed me in one shot. I don't know much about the T-54. I know his gun probably does over 300, so just trying to tell him that he was over here. And yeah, he just sat there until the artillery blew him out. But we won, and I did almost 1,400 damage, and I managed to shoot some tanks. So, Tier 9 game, you gotta be pretty careful. You can see the front of my tank is littered with holes. Luckily, it wasn't the more powerful tanks shooting at me. I think the Panther was one of them. And the T-44 as well. Maybe not the most powerful tank. But you can do stuff, you can contribute, even in a Tier 9 game with this tank. It's not too bad. Alright, we're on everyone's favorite map after maybe El Haluf, the Campster map, Malinovka. And I'm a little bit wary about being the first tank up the hill because my turret is not the most wonderful turret. Our T-29 is like, I'm not going to go up here. I want to sit back down here and hide. So he pretty much hid there the entire game, and he died not too long after that. He could have come up here and been hull down shooting at all these tanks, but instead he was like, no, the medium tanks can do it. Because we didn't... The only other heavy tank we had was the KV-1S and the M6. And he sat back there and did whatever he wanted to do.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Get a shot into the M6. Don't get another shot yet. And this is where I'm kind of wary about being here because I know the artillery is going to be shooting at us the whole game. He's already shooting at me once. See the hole where he almost hit me. So I'm going to try and do the annoying drive back and forth thing to, you know.
Enemy is hit.
So shoot the Tiger in the only place where I can pin him in the turret. This V-39, he wanted to shoot me all game long, but he kept missing. So we're up here shooting, T-29, most powerful tank, still sitting back there doing nothing. And I can see this guy. I like how he heralds his arrival with his little turret top thing before before he can even shoot. It's just kind of funny. So I do stick around here for a little while longer to try and hold this ridge.
We just dinged him.
And you can see I took a shot there, and that bounced off the one bouncy part in the top. So that was nice.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Yeah, that could have been my life right there too. And this is the best place to be if you have tanks that have turrets. And I just didn't see us getting any help here. Like, we were going to sit here and eventually get overrun because their Churchill 7 was coming. So I was just like, you know what? I want this T-29 to get shot. So I just dropped all the way back to the back part of this hill here and shot through and decimated a large portion of their team for the rest of the game.
Bounced off.
Well, I didn't stay in this particular spot. I did move around a bit.
We just dinged
So
him.
that SU-122's got pretty bad armor. I have trouble penetrating him.
Penetration.
Tiger armor, on the other hand, is like putting your finger through pudding. Or maybe jello.
Ricochet.
So that ricochets, maybe took his tracks off.
That one bounced.
That one bounced. I'm not going to bother shooting at the T-29 because anything that goes near his turret's going to do nothing.
Enemy armor.
KV-1S turret, on the other hand, pretty easy to penetrate. I'll shoot at that guy every day. And he just sat there. And that shot went... I don't know where that shot went.
We just dinged him.
And that one bounced. And then this guy comes raging down the hill here. And that was a crap shot. I should have let that more. And I didn't get reloaded before he had YOLO'd all the way down there.
Enemy armor is hit.
So I put one into him. And
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
led that guy enough to take him out. And now it's a T-34-1.
Penetration.
Oh, and look at that! Look who just disappeared off the map. The burning husk of the T-29. He could have sat here and only exposed his turret, but he just sat out in the middle of the open where he could get shot by everything. I get annoyed when heavy tanks don't particularly do what they should do. And they kind of handicap the entire team and make the medium tanks do what the heavy tanks should do. And when we have to do that, we usually die. Unless we play exceptionally well. I got pretty lucky here because I was able to shoot through these bushes quite a lot. And I had guys to my left that were spotting through some of the bushes and stuff, so I had to shoot everything they spotted. So just waiting for stuff to pop out here. And this is the one guy I'd whittled down to quite low. I didn't have a very good shot at him. So I'm just going to roll around a little bit here. And after a while I got a little bit bored. Because it didn't seem like they were coming out. So it's time to drive to the top of the hill. And luckily the SU-122-44 had the same idea. Because it's better to go in numbers. Yeah. And then this guy's like, oh, here, shoot the side of my tank. I'm like, okay. So, he's dead. It's really nice when Churchills do that. It's like, I don't want to shoot at your tough armor. I just want to shoot the side. It's like I used a Jedi mind trick on him or something. He's just like, okay, I will pull out and show you my side. Shoot it. So looking over there, you can see that the SU-152 has killed 6 of our tanks. So if we can remove him from the game, it's great. And I see that he's popped up, but I'm way too far away to actually see him yet, visually. So I drive over as far left as I can to keep my range on the hill here. And I'm just trying to get anything to go in. And that one bounces off the side. And that garbage shot that went high and right managed to clip him and kill him. I thought the other shot was going to hurt him, but it managed to be that shot that took him out. So I'll take it. And that leaves the T-34-1. I don't really know much about this tank.
Penetration.
I just wanted to drive at him and shoot him as much as I could because I had full health and I was just going to try and outplay him. So I took a shot there and I just kept driving around him, and then the SU blasted him while he was shooting at me, which is pretty much what medium tanks should do. It let the other dude there do what he needed to do. He could just sit there and shoot while I drive and shoot.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Let's pop the Hummel, pump a couple into that guy, and now it's just me and the SU-100Y. And you'd think that this VK would have been on the map where we thought he was going to be, but in the end I had to drive through all of this forest looking for him. He wasn't in the forest, he wasn't drowning in the water, he wasn't in the back corner over here. He was like trying to go hunt for our artillery instead of actually like trying to win. So we ended up spotting him when he attacked our artillery over there. I don't know how he spotted him. He was like deep in the woods. Yeah, so we ended up winning this one, and I did, I think, close to 3,000 damage, killed 4 tanks. And it was a mostly tier 7, half tier 6 game. A lot of the tanks I was shooting at were either heavy tanks or they're higher tier tanks. So pretty successful game. The tank, the highlights of this tank really are like its mobility. Like, I mean, I traverse pretty much the entire map here driving around, and As you can see, like it turns pretty well. The turret traverse is great. Even on the move, it shot pretty well. If I had smooth ride on this tank, it would probably be really nice to have, to be able to drive around and shoot and have a little bit better accuracy. Armor, it has some armor. I mean, it's better not to get shot at all. I guess one of the more negative things about it is the gun depression isn't fantastic. But I don't know, there's not too much bad to say about it, other than that it has a tier 6 gun. They call it a tier 7 gun, I call it a tier 6 gun. But the gun's not that bad. It shoots pretty fast. The DPM on it isn't bad. It's pretty accurate. 0.37 accuracy isn't bad. The aim time's not bad. It seems like a pretty average tank. There's nothing too fantastic about it, but for some reason it just jives with how I like to play, which is kind of sometimes I like to be up close, and then sometimes I do like to be more standoffish and just pick away at guys, and then move up and attack them when there's less numbers and you're not going to get peeled apart, right? So that's kind of the way I like to play this tank. I will be a little bit more cautious at the beginning sometimes, because with the bad gun depression, you're not able to sometimes put yourself in the same positions to win. So I play it a little bit more cautiously at the beginning, and then I go out of my way, like that flank I did on the Chinese tank on the hill. Yeah, there's not too much bad about this tank. I quite like it, and I'm about halfway to the T-44. It just seems to be flying by because the tank's just easy to drive. It racks up anywhere from about 2 to 3,500 EXP for me whenever I get my double on it. So I'm cruising through it pretty quick, and I'm really looking forward to the T-44, which I think actually has pretty decent armor compared to how this thing is armored. And then eventually I'll get the T-54, which seems pretty cool. And then I get to actually choose between the what is it, the T-62A and the Object 140, the new 8.9. Us in North America here, we're still on 8.7. Everyone else is on 8.8 at this point. But yeah, T-43 gets my thumbs up because the equivalent tank that's going to pop in at 8.8, it's one of those rear-mounted pancake-looking turret tanks. It has a pretty decent gun on it. I think it does like 300 damage, and it's fairly accurate, but the gun doesn't traverse fully around the turret doesn't fully traverse around the tank. So you got to play it kind of weird. I suppose you'd want to reverse around things instead of coming around with your armor to the front, or I'm not sure. But I think I would prefer to go out on this line as opposed to the new line of Russian mediums, but I haven't played them. I know the tank that is at tier 6, the A-43, it seems like it's a pile of junk, and the T-34-85 would pound it into the dirt. So unless you're really interested in playing 2 more Russian medium tanks, I would probably stick to this line as opposed to the new one. But I haven't played those tanks. I didn't play them on the test server because I was already going on this line. I'd already committed to it. So I would recommend these ones personally myself. I think they get better guns, and this gun is good, but the gun on the equivalent tier 7 tank, I think tier 7 or was it tier 8? One of them gets a really nasty gun. But yeah, if you like the review, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos, hit subscribe. And I'll be coming up with more videos this week. Talk to you soon. Keep your armor to the front, boys and girls.